Hey guys, back for another lesson here. This is the third video I've done playing to the Knocking on Heaven's Door backing track. And again, the whole point of doing this kind of little series of playing to that backing track was just to show different licks and different positions, how to kind of transition in and out of the boxes. So just to give people some different lick ideas, different phrases, different positions. So hopefully you can just kind of take these licks, take these phrases, use them in your own way. Of course, you can practice them to this kind of track, to this kind of G, D, C kind of Knocking on Heaven's Door thing. But obviously this translates or generalizes to a lot of other chord progressions as well. So yeah, so I guess if you're watching at this point, you've probably seen the other two. So this is just a continuation of that, playing to that Heaven's Door thing. I came up with a pretty long one. It's going to take a little bit of time to break it all down. So I'm going to try and just kind of jump into that. The first part is pretty easy, but I tried to start out with something a bit more melodic that was kind of touching on some major notes. So the first little thing that I launch into, this all... That's, I'm playing that within box 2 of minor pentatonic. So if you think about box 1, right? Right, in G, you go up to box 2. Right. Yeah, that's it. Sorry, I hardly ever use the low strings for the box 2. I'm normally down here kind of doing that. So that kind of thing. But anyway, that's where I'm doing this in box 2. So I'm sliding in on the 3rd string and doing a bend on the 1st string. And at that point, it could easily just be like a minor lick we're gonna do. Like if we did something like that, that would be minor. But I'm gonna go like, and right here is what makes it major, is I'm hitting the major 3rd, I believe that is, like this. If you did it down here in box 1, it'd be. But again. So doing a little bend there, kind of bending in and out of the major sound. So that's what we start out with, then I go. So again, then I'm sliding down to box 1 again. Or box 1, it's the major 3rd again here, and just doing the same thing there. So, and then to go into the next part, I'm staying in box 1. So again, and I'm on the 4th string, so we go. So we end up there, and then I go. That's the next part. So it's just kind of, you want to pull on the 4th string, like slide into it, and do a double stop. That's it. That's a little sequence there, very bluesy, pretty basic stuff. Again, so we're doing the 4th string. I'm going to do the little double stop on the 3rd and the 2nd string. And then after I do the double stop, I do this thing. Very bluesy, right? Slash does that kind of thing all the time, right? Sliding back to box 2. So again. Didn't play that so clean, but. Okay, so yeah, look, all of a sudden my inlays turn bright fluorescent yellow. What happened? But yeah, quick guitar change here, just continuing this kind of thing. So when we get to box 2, you go. So the whole idea is I'm using box 2 briefly, then box 3 for a second to get up to this position to do this repeating lick. But to get there, I just chose to kind of do this thing, right? So we did. So again, all I did is slide into box 2. Whoop. Yeah, that's the pattern. Whoop. If you recognize that position, that's kind of like when you slide into box 3, right? So we did that in all the other lessons for this backing track too. So that, if that sounds familiar, that's all. We're just kind of hitting those notes and then sliding up to. And this actually is, you could play that in position 3 and go. Playing it on the first and the second. It's just awkward for the fingering and the strings there to go. I can do it, but it's not as good as going up here and going. And I'll get into that in a second, but again, just to make sure we understand the transition and the idea behind it. And again, 'cause it's not so important that you do all these little licks or these little transition notes exactly the way I'm doing. I'm just trying to show you how I kind of came up with a way to transition through the boxes for quick little licks, little phrases. So again, we got this lick down here in box 1, slide into box 2, box 3, then up to the repeating. So that little box, again, just to go over it quickly, the box 2, very simple. It's just the second, third string, this kind of little triangle note, triangle sequence. So yeah, that's all I'm doing. The slide is what's cool too, I think. Instead of doing it like you're playing it there, I'm sliding, and that gives you a little bit more vibe too, I think, sliding into stuff. And you kind of slow the bend. So I think that sounds cool, but again, I'll do that a couple times in a row. So hopefully that makes sense. But again, okay, so now we'll kind of focus on just doing the repeating lick that you slide up to. This where I'm sliding up to. Really sure what position that is. I mean, it's gonna help me transition into the next lick sequence, which is actually in a major position. But this whole, as I said, is the same lick you could do in box 3. That I'm just doing it up here because of the string positioning, and it's easier to do that bend. So I'm not gonna worry about describing what position that is in, but again, if you just do, it's just the third string with the middle finger. That's all it is. You can work on kind of getting that up to speed. If that lick sounds familiar, I mean, a lot of these repeating licks are used by a lot of people. I think Slash does something very similar to that, maybe in Paradise City on the fast, crazy solo, when he does that little repeating sequence like that. But the way I'm doing it is just, again, just a bend. You can see this hand better now too. I'm doing alternate picking, I think. Alternate picking. So I slide into it. The next part is I go, and this part is where we start getting into more of the legato. Think about this next part as being in a major position, so major, like G major, or major pentatonic, I should say, because if we play here, we're basically in the high octave version of box 1 now, right? This kind of. But if you go down here, if you're familiar with doing this kind of thing. Oh, wait. It's like the major notes, right? This is like the major side. It's a minor part. But anyway, I was doing that repeating lick. And then I go. You go to the first string. That's a little, and that legato pattern I'm doing, at least the technique kind of, the hammer on, pull off pattern is the same that I've been doing. I'm just spreading the fingers up differently to accommodate the major scale here, the major pentatonic, but it's just this. So hopefully that sounds familiar. You can tell it sounds pretty major, I think, as opposed to if you were in the minor and did like. So, but down here. So again, the slide, the repeating lick. Do it one more time. In the next part, we go down to the second string, using a similar kind of fingering for the most part, but using my pinky here. So hopefully you can see what's happening there. So again. That's what I ended up doing, is repeating that one part, but again. So where I repeat that, you see my index finger is on the second string, then we're just walking up. I'm doing alternate picking there. So again. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that's clear. So that's the next part. So we do the little repeating. I don't really know how many times I counted out. I just did it to kind of fit the song. Again, you can do whatever you want with it. It doesn't have to be the way that I'm doing this, but just trying to show the licks. That's the sequence I did. So you're just doing that whole. Just that kind of thing. After we set up with the and that sets us up to do this kind of chromatic run. Very slashy, right? Very Joe Walshy, I think. Very kind of Eagles. If you listen to like Hotel California, you hear that kind of thing, that chromatic walk. I'm alternate picking. I guess you could down pick it. But when you're going fast, it's easier to alternate pick for me. And again, it's always important to be mindful of your bends, to try and keep them in tune. Maybe hang on to them a bit. Let them like kind of almost like in that pre-bend kind of way. It can make it sound kind of a little bit more vibey, maybe. That's the next part. So I go. I'm doing a bend on the first string on the 13th fret, and that takes us from out of this major position. Now I'm going to be in, think about this as being more like position 4 minor pentatonic, right? That kind of thing, right? So again, and the little legato flourish I did here is exactly the one that I've done, I think, pretty much in both other sections, just in different contexts. And I'm not going to continue on with it, but in the same way. But this one part is exactly the same, so I'm only going to go over it like 2 times. So it's just, right? I'm sure you recognize that if you've watched the first 2 sections of this little sequence lesson I'm doing. So after I do that, this is where it changes. I go up to this and go. But again, let's make sure we're clear. So we're kind of in box 4 minor pentatonic for that quick legato. And you slide into this. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing there. We slide into, from that position, slide into the high octave box for position 1. So in the slide, you can get, if you do it right, you can get a good vibe with it, right? So this kind of thing. So these are all kind of like little half-step bends here. So you have to be careful because you can easily kind of bend like a 2-step bend or bend it too far, and it will get out of tune and it won't sound right. So it's kind of a subtle bend, a little tricky when you slide into it. When I first started kind of doing this, I kept bending it too much when I slid into it. So you go. See, it's only that. It's that note. So again, there's a real subtle, and it gives it that kind of slashy, southern rocky kind of vibe, I think. So I'm sliding up to there. the next part. So this part, again, that's that stacking thing, right? That using your ring finger to kind of go across strings 2 and 3 in this case. Then I go. So hopefully that's making some sense. I mean, it's not really a difficult lick, but I think it is difficult to do it and make it sound the ideal kind of way. Just to have the right subtlety, not overbending, and just kind of getting the right, holding it long enough to have the right kind of the feel that you're going for. So just to make sure, just to finish off that lick. Then you go and hit the second string with the pinky. Then I do another repeating lick in now we're in box 1, right? It's really box 1, the octave up, right? So I'm gonna do this kind of thing. Get the same kind of pattern as same picking pattern, just different fingers spreading here, but so you're just bending the 3rd string, right? Then so I'm just going. So you see what I'm doing there? Bending the 3rd, then on the 2nd string, using my pinky. Alternate picking. And you can work on getting that up to speed. It took me some time to get used to that rhythm too, like any repeating lick. So it's just Freebird kind of vibe too. So what we're gonna do is transition from doing the repeating to kind of a hammer-on kind of thing, right? Just to accentuate it. So go from that's what I ended up doing. So I go. There's different ways you can do that. I think I'm going bending on the 3rd. I'm alternate picking between the 3rd and the 1st string. So you're hitting the 1st string right here with the index finger, picking off with the pinky. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. So again. Different ways you can do it, but I think I was doing it like that. Do the repeating lick first. And just start doing that hammer-on kind of pull. Again, that's like anything with any, like the other part of the repeating lick. Maybe start out slow and then work your way up to the speed. You can pick it differently too. You could just pick not even using the high E string and alternate between the 3rd and the 2nd go. So I'm going. I do it different ways. I think if you hit that high E, it just adds a different note to it. Versus Subtle difference, right? So then hit the high E. But it's the same motion, the same technique. So hopefully that makes sense. So that's what I did was. And then just did a bend. Again, we're in that minor pentatonic position, so I just did a big bend on the second string. And this next part is all kind of improvisation. You can just add any kind of slash, hammer-on, pull-off kind of stuff in minor box 1 kind of stuff. So I think I went like... something like that. So... And then I just did a bend up to eventually we want to hit that high note and go. Bending on the first string. And this might be the one more interesting part about this, is that it's slightly different than other stuff I've done. I did kind of an overbend on the high E, so it's like a big bend in a 2-part section. So. And that's a good one to work on too, because it's easy to bend it out of tune. But so again. Whatever, at this point you're just making it up, okay? Like when I did it on the initial recording, or the first playthrough, by the time I got to this point, I was just improvisation. Some of the first parts I'd kind of made up for the purpose of this lesson so I could recreate it, but this part here you just kind of go nuts and do your own little slashy hammer-ons there. But you might want to try the big double bend kind of thing if that's not something you're used to. Sounds cool. And that's all right, guys. So that's going to be it for this lesson. Sorry, it was a bit of a long one, but it was kind of a long solo to break down. So hopefully you can get something out of it, just as far as transitioning through the boxes, just some useful licks and patterns that you can then apply to different situations and try and use them to different chord progressions. So yeah, hopefully that helps. And I think I'm going to play an alternate version of the intro just for the heck of it, because I couldn't decide. I think this last version is a little better, but the guitar volume was a bit low. So at any rate, that's probably going to be the last one I do playing to this progression. Try and do something else next time. So thanks a lot, guys. Take care.
Satisfied, you will come to me.
Get out my house. I kill you. I'll bring him in full
Hey,
body.
stop it!
I kill you, you bastard.
You could kill me if you tried.
You betrayed me. You're not good. You're just a chicken. Chip, 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 chip.
Shut up! It's over!
Trey, shut up! Shut up!
It's over!
It's not over. Everybody betrayed me. I fed up with this world.